welcome back to Pleasures Deliciously, a channel with simple recipes and drinks for the home cook. I'm Jay and I'll be your host today. Have you ever walked into a house where someone was making fall off the bones oven barbecue ribs? If you have, then you know what it's like to have your mouth instantly water and for your belly to rumble with hopeful anticipation that you will have your share of sticky, savory, finger-licking good barbecue ribs. In this video, I am delighted to share with you a fall off the bones oven barbecue ribs recipe that will curl your toes and make you shout, "It pleasures deliciously." And as always, if you enjoy this video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment. And remember to hit that bell button so you can be caught up on our latest free recipes, tips, and giveaways. Okay fam, it's time to get into the recipe. For the fall off the bones oven barbecue ribs, I will need about 4.5 pounds of pork spare ribs, 1/3 cup of brown sugar, 1.5 tablespoons of kosher salt, 1.5 tablespoons of black pepper, 1.5 tablespoons of paprika, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of mustard powder, and 1 cup of barbecue sauce. The night before I bake my ribs, I am going to remove the fascia, also known as the membrane, off of my ribs. Then I will combine all of my dry ingredients into a separate bowl and mix well to create a dry rub. Next, I will apply the dry rub onto my ribs. I simply place the ribs onto a piece of aluminum foil, then sprinkle and rub my meat evenly with the dry rub. It's like I'm giving these ribs a massage. I wrap the ribs tightly in foil and allow them to sit overnight in the fridge. The next day when I'm ready to bake the ribs, I will preheat my oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. In a broiling pan, I will pour 2 cups of water into the drip tray. As the ribs bake, the steam from the water will tenderize the meat. Then I will place the top tray onto the drip tray of the broiling pan. The ribs are placed onto the broiling pan, keeping the membrane side down. I cover the ribs with foil, taking care to tuck the foil around the broiling pan to seal in most of the steam as the ribs bake. I place the ribs onto the middle rack of the oven and bake for about 2 hours. After 2 hours, I remove the ribs from the oven and allow them to rest for about 15 minutes. After 15 minutes of rest, I uncover the ribs. I baste all sides of the ribs in barbecue sauce. While I'm basting the ribs, I have turned my oven up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I place the ribs back into the oven uncovered. I continue to bake the ribs for another 15 minutes. During this round of baking, I will baste the top of the ribs in barbecue sauce every 10 minutes. After the second round of baking is done, I remove the ribs from the oven and allow them to rest for at least 10 minutes. Let's serve these bad boys up. They smell absolutely amazing. And notice how juicy and tender the meat looks. I can't wait a minute longer. It's time for me to indulge in these fall off the bones oven barbecue ribs. I won't eat the whole rack. However, without a doubt, I will be humming. These barbecue ribs pleasure delicious.